So I think I can't really take a lot of credit for that. You know, once Lynn started doing that, she did the input. Obviously, she had to do it for her qualification, but the staff really went with it because I think they could see themselves that, you know, all right, okay, there is something in this. And even our most reluctant members of staff thought, oh yeah, I can see, you know, if we could get them to take this step beyond and not give up so easily, then maybe we would make more progress. So because I think of the messages that are in it and the underpinning from the research, it was very difficult to argue with it. And we were able to look at some of the things that made a difference in learning, and the things that weren't. And it was a bit of a surprise, I think, to some teachers. For example, you know, that ICT is not a particularly brilliant way of making a huge difference, and neither is homework at primary school. So those sorts of things really made people ask questions about the normal practice that they had. So they bought into it, and once they bought into it, and I think because they felt part of it, because we had our cogs and we didn't go for characters or we didn't borrow something that somebody else was already using, we really made it ours. I think they all bought into that really, really well, because they had ownership of it. And the children came on board with it very quickly and were fairly fascinated about the brain and the neurons. And they liked, you know, it's fairly simple little messages, which on their own might be a bit anecdotal, but together with the background, really, you know, have made us focus on what's going to make a better learner. And that's...
Do you want to go in and talk us through the cogs and talk us through what these cogs are? What are these cogs? You keep talking about these cogs. Tell me the story of these cogs.
Okay, so these cogs were the aspects of growth mindset that we wanted the children to know about. And so what we did was we ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them, but we thought if we introduced the 12 all at once that would get lost. So we chose, as a staff, we chose which ones we wanted to start with, and we introduced them 2 at a time. So we're still not got all 12 introduced, but that's fine because we've got some of the big messages like I can't do it yet. Okay, so I got it wrong. How can I make it right? I'm trying to think. I want to try again. And the one about practice. If I practice, I'll get better. So those have been the first initial ones that we've really focused on. And it's not on this wall, but we then broke that down into the learning powers that you would need to use to be able to achieve that aspect of growth mindset. And they're on little cogs that go round about it. And that's just really to focus on that particular cog, and how you can achieve that. And you can see some of it on the certificates here. So the children talked about their growth mindset and how they had shown a growth mindset and what cogs they had used. And they use that in their learning logs every term. They choose which ones that they've worked on and which ones they've liked using and what it's done to help them learn.